We already attempted to do this once and were thwarted by dogs and Abigail's sister calling.
No one has realized we're back yet, I guess, and that we have things we have to do. Which
Everyone needs to know exactly what we're
doing at all times.
As you can perhaps hear, I have once again been sick.
Yeah, Katie's never been well a day in her life, I'm pretty sure.
No. I do often wonder if my voice, because my voice is naturally kind of raspy, right? I do wonder if that's natural or if I am just always squeak, squeak. Or if I am always just mildly allergic to something around me.
That seems more likely based on where we live, where allergens are everywhere.
Yeah.
Perhaps. So.
Yeah, that is what this current illness is, I suspect, is cedar fever, because I was running a slight fever the other day, which will happen to me, and I felt better way too quickly for it to be
actual illness.
Yeah.
Well, that's the good news, I guess.
Yeah, because I physically feel mostly fine. I sound terrible.
She looks fine.
I feel mostly fine.
Mostly fine.
I'm tired. I'm really tired. Mav and this moose and I are about to fight.
The moose is topical.
It is, you're right. Because the book that we read today, is by the author of the Moose Springs, Alaska
and
series.
Emma has a little toy moose she carries around.
Also true. I wonder if it looks like that one. That one's Kong branded, so I doubt it.
Emma has a dog toy she carries around.
You never know. It's a cute moose.
Yeah, I mean...
when it's not all sticky from Mav's
Well, his head
saliva.
is currently in Mav's mouth, so I can't really tell anyway. But
Here,
I believe
I'll show you.
Oh, yeah, he's pretty cute.
It's a cute moose.
That's about what I imagined it looking like.
Ew, sticky.
Ooh, yeah. You didn't have to touch it.
Anyway, I might have to let you talk for most of this one just because my voice sounds like this. So we'll just see how long she lasts.
I'll do my best.
Yes, but we read The Christmas You Found Me by Sarah Morgenthaler. Still to this day don't know if I'm saying her name correctly, but it seems right.
I kind of read it as Morgenthaler, but that might just be me as Rosenthal.
Could be Morgenthaler.
Anyway, thank you, Sarah.
Thank you,
appreciate
Sarah.
you.
Yes, truly.
Katie has been a longtime fan of Sarah Morgenthaler.
By long time, like 4 years? As long as she's been in my consciousnly.
Yes, because she did Moose Springs series, which is 3 books.
And I really enjoyed. I think there's like there's a little novella in there too, perhaps, maybe.
And are these Christmas or just winter?
Sort of both. They're not all Christmassy, but they're not Christmassy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They're less Christmassy than this book,
which is called The Christmas You Found Me.
Precisely.
Yeah. Well, this is my first Sarah Morgenthaler, and I'll tell you what I thought at the end.
Okay. As I mentioned last episode, on like the second page of this book, the main character is like, my divorce, which was finalized 2 weeks before Christmas. And I was like, this is going to be an interesting journey for me to go on.
Does this feel prophetic for you?
A little bit.
Do I need to put a husband for hire ad in the paper? Although you don't have like a whole ranch to manage, so wouldn't be completely.
I will one day.
Well, yeah, but not now.
Not now, yeah.
Someday.
I don't know. My dad could use some help.
Yeah. You also don't have thousands of acres the way
That's true. That's
Sienna
true.
does.
That's true. Yeah. We have less than 100. Just barely less than 100. But,
yes.
But I don't know. Tim's getting old. He's going to need some help.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Katie took me and my husband to her family land a couple weeks ago.
I did.
And we skipped rocks.
We did skip rocks.
And met the cows, who would not let me pet them, but...
No, they're not that kind of cow.
I know, but still, it was not the same as Idaho.
No.
And a lot warmer. And less acreage.
Less acreage. Probably a lot more broken down.
Yeah, more busted stuff.
Probably a lot more busted fridges at the back of the property than Sienna has.
Yeah, I would imagine Sienna does not keep busted fridges on her property. She doesn't seem quite as white trash as we are as people.
Why pay for bulk trash pickup when you can just put it at the back of the property and forget about it for 20 years?
I would love to see what happens when archaeologists dig up the Penchik land.
God, who fucking knows what they'll find?
Thousands of beer cans.
Thousands of beer cans.
And 3 fridges.
At least 3.
At least. So that's how this book opens.
On land much nicer than mine.
Land much nicer in Idaho. I always kind of get it confused because they kept talking about Montana, a part of the country I have not been.
Yes.
But Sienna is literally the day her divorce is finalized. Her friend Jess puts an ad in the paper advertising a husband for hire in that there are benefits, meaning a 401k match, which I'm like, well, that's a lie. Sienna's not matching anyone's.
She's not matching anything.
No, but she does have health insurance.
Yeah. But to be fair, this ad is like mostly a joke. It's not exclusively a joke.
No,
it's mostly a joke.
I did have my first question in all of this was, how does this town have a newspaper?
Yeah.
And how does this newspaper have a staff where they are having meetings?
Yeah.
And how do they have a newspaper that people are reading enough that she's the town joke for a day?
I don't know. I mean, LaGrange has a newspaper.
Yes, but does everyone in LaGrange read the newspaper?
I mean, actually, like a lot of people do. It's a pretty big deal.
That's good.
So yeah, but it's not just in the paper. They've also been like hung around town.
Yeah.
Was kind of what I've gleaned. Like I'm picturing the little pull off a...
Yeah. We call this number.
Yeah, call this number and you pull off the little tab or whatever.
I think I've mentioned on the podcast about how every time we would go to Starbucks or a coffee shop or whatever where they would have those message boards, my dad would be like, this is where we put up our plastic surgery advertisements. Homegrown plastic surgery. Call Joe.
Oh my gosh.
We never actually did it, but he did talk about that a lot.
Ridiculous.
So a guy does respond, and a guy. His name is Guy.
His name is Guy.
Guy Maple. And he shows up and meets Sienna at her favorite coffee shop semi-accidentally. I think Sienna's friend Jess points him that direction and is like, go see her. And then Sienna's like, what the heck?
Yeah, it's a very informal appointment.
Yes. And Jess is like, well, I'll cancel it if you want. And then Guy shows up anyway. He's too early. So
yeah. And then it gets real sad real fast.
Yeah. So his daughter Emma needs a kidney. Really,
like she's actively dying.
Yeah, and she's 4, and he is kind of like seriously applying like, look, I hear you have health insurance. I need health insurance because they need to stay on the donor list. Mm-hmm. And they need to prove that they like have income and can pay for the recovery medication, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, so they need to have health insurance and they need to prove some type of like steady income.
Yeah.
So there are 2 issues to solve here.
Right. And Sienna at first is like, no, I wasn't actually looking for a real husband. And Guy takes it in a stride and is like, okay, well, here's my number. If you know anyone who's like hiring right now, please call me. Mm-hmm. And then Sienna goes home and she's kind of like, actually, which, man, what a wild thing to suddenly decide to do the day your divorce is finalized.
Listen, I'm just saying that I feel just crazy enough lately. I could see it.
Would you do it?
This would work on me.
Okay, but my question is there not a waiting period? There is a waiting period between when you, I mean, I guess maybe not in Idaho, but in Texas, when Austin and I went and got our marriage license, they were like, have you been divorced in the last 90 days?
Yeah.
So, I don't know Idaho rules, but in Texas.
Yeah, in Texas, you have to wait a full 30 days after a Texas judge finalizes your divorce before you can remarry in Texas.
Okay, so 30 days.
So Idaho, waiting period, marriage after divorce. Let's see. Oh, in Idaho, there is no waiting period to get married after a divorce. You can remarry as soon as the judge signs the final decree of divorce.
Wow. Okay, Sarah, thank you. Learned something new today.
Yeah, but the waiting period for when you file to when you can actually start, like, proceedings is 21 days. In Texas, it's 60 days.
Right.
So,
okay.
So yeah, good job, Sarah, keeping things factually correct in this book.
Yes.
I can't say I wouldn't do it.
I guess what have you got to lose?
Exactly.
Maybe.
And apparently he's really hot.
Well, yeah.
And I need help if I'm Sienna and I need help on my ranch.
Which is like 1,500 acres or something, she says.
Yeah.
And
I'm probably pretty lonely.
Yeah, probably. But
hot guy roommate.
Sure, why not? Either way, she doesn't have to think about it very long. And then she's like, he's got a kid.
Yeah.
Let me get married again.
That's the other thing, is I would also feel a moral obligation if somebody came to me with this. I think it would, like, wreck me if I said no and then, like, the girl died or something.
Yeah. Okay. You know, this would maybe get me too. But this will probably never happen to either of us.
Yeah, exactly. Let's, please, if you're listening to this podcast and you have a dying kid, do not
ask us to marry you.
Do not call me. I have to wait at least 30 more days. At least.
At least. So she's like, yeah, all right, let's do it. And calls him.
So Guy thinks that she's booty calling him.
And is like, I don't do this with my daughter in the other room. And
Yeah.
he's like, bro, that's a little presumptuous of you. She's just calling. So.
Yeah, he, like, thinks that she's trying to have phone sex with him or something.
Yeah, I was like, damn, dude, calm down.
Yeah.
Does this happen to you a lot?
If he's this hot, maybe so.
Maybe so. Maybe so. So when they get to the courthouse, did also learn, assuming that Sarah's also right about this, that you can get a marriage license and get married the same day.
Yeah, which you can't do here.
No. Here it's a 3-day thing, right? You get your marriage license and then you can get married 3 days later up to like 90 days later.
Yeah, something like that.
Fun fact, Austin and I turned in our marriage license late. And they still signed it for us, but there was a point where I thought we would potentially have to get married again. Because we were late mailing it in. And I did think I was going to have to call Katie and be like, hey, so we have to have another wedding. Do you want to come to the courthouse? Which would have been really funny.
That would have been really funny, actually, and a good time.
Yeah, when I thought about it and I was like, oh, shit, we didn't do this. I was like, well, you know what?
Second wedding!
Second wedding! Worst things have happened.
Yeah.
I would have wasted $80. But
Right.
all
Whatever,
right.
yeah.
I'll pay it again. Just like Tom and Katie on Vanderpump.
Vanderpump.
They didn't work out so well, but, you know.
Yeah, Sienna is basically like, I'm in. Come move in with me. And Guy and Emma do.
Yes. Lots of things happen in 18 hours of Sienna's life. Mm-hmm. And so Jess calls and is like, so I hear you got married. And Sienna is kind of like, yeah, but doesn't really tell Jess why.
This is super weird, because if Jess is Sienna's supposed, like, best friend in the world, you would never tolerate this from me.
No!
I would be calling you, like, you would be updated every step of the way.
Also, if I had heard you had just, like, gotten married the same day you're divorced, again, assuming we live in Idaho.
Right.
I'd be pulling up to your ranch immediately.
Right.
Like, not just what Jess does, which is say, okay, cool. Sounds good. Because also, I think if you had told me, hey, there's a little girl dying, I have to help her, I'd be like, okay.
Right. You would be like, are we sure this is a good idea?
But okay, I understand.
Right.
Perhaps a little bit. Whereas Jess does not give that information because Sienna is like, I don't want them to pity Guy. Like, he's already going through a hard time. I'm going to let this just, like, play out. And Jess, to their credit, I guess, or to their not credit, Jess confuses me very much as a character.
Same.
Because they seem to have no real, like, firm standing on any sort of moral compass of sorts, maybe. Although I don't know if moral compass is the right word, but... Jess
was not really fleshed out as a super three-dimensional character, so I think that was probably the problem.
Yes, I think you are exactly right.
Like, most of the time we interact with Jess, they are, like, off screen, essentially.
Yes, basically. Like, they
like
watch,
on the phone or whatever.
Yeah, and they watch Emma a couple times,
yeah.
And we'll get to more Jess shenanigans later, because, again, they confuse me very much. So Guy and Emma move in. I do have lots of questions on what Guy tells Emma, because Emma is at the wedding and is like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, she's 4, so it's probably like, we're going to go live with this lady for a while.
Yeah, Emma really rolls with the punches here and is just like, oh, okay, we're at the courthouse. There's a wedding, which maybe I don't have good concept of 4-year-olds and their knowledge base.
Yeah, I imagine it was probably just something like, we're going to go live with this lady. She's helping us out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know about the marriage part, but whatever.
Yeah, because he brings Emma to the ceremony,
right.
And they, like, give her flowers.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, I do have memories of being 4 years old, and if I remembered this now, I'd be like, that was crazy, Dad. Why did we do that? I mean, thanks, I lived, but also...
What a wild thing for you to put me through.
Yeah, interesting.
So yeah, they move in. Guy is sleeping on the couch. Sienna finds him doing one-armed push-ups late at night when she goes downstairs for a glass of milk.
Which, yeah, ew.
We've been talking way too much about people who drink milk recreationally lately, and I don't understand it.
Yeah, if you drink milk recreationally, grow up. But also, ew.
I mostly just don't get it. But
I don't like milk, is what it is. That came off really harsh. If you like milk, congratulations. I don't.
I like chocolate milk.
Like at the donut shop, yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless.
And chocolate milk tastes good.
Yes.
Actual milk does not really taste that good.
No, I would agree with
to
you.
To me, personally.
Personally.
Yeah, so she catches him doing like shirtless one-armed push-ups. She's like, whoa, this man in my house is extremely hot and can do one-armed push-ups.
Yes, which also she talks about how skinny he looks, so I'm impressed that he can still do a one-armed push-up despite not having like a real meal in forever. So.
Yeah, I feel like he's got to just be like all muscle from his like blue-collar physical labor jobs.
Yes, he works in construction, and so that's partially what he's doing in Caney Falls.
Yeah.
Which I did look up. Not a real place. I know. Because I also had questions on like the population of this place outside of the Frank Church Wilderness is what it's called. And so I was like, okay, how big is this town where they have a coffee shop, a newspaper, a seemingly pretty nice restaurant? Like I shouldn't worry about it.
Yeah.
Guy like gets a new job at the same time as he and Sienna get married, which another big day for Guy. And Guy is going to take Emma with him to the job site, but Sienna's like, no, just leave her here with me. It's fine. Guy's very trusting in this moment. So Emma spends the day with Sienna doing all the ranch chores, and Sienna adapts pretty well to having a 4-year-old next to her as she's doing this, which I'm very impressed. That's a lot of chores to also have a kid hanging on you.
Totally, but I think I remember her like either her saying to somebody later or her like internal monologue or whatever being like, it's actually kind of nice to have like company doing this because normally I'm by myself.
Yeah.
So
she sets Emma up in the barn. Emma makes stockings for all the animals, which was really cute.
Really cute. Emma befriends Barley, great dog character.
Great dog character. Maybe my favorite dog in a while.
Yep.
Barley is not goofy like some dog characters that we've seen where you're like, that's not a real dog. Not that I don't like a goofy dog character. I love a goofy dog character.
Yeah.
But Barley is a very realistic dog.
Barley's a dog with a job.
Barley is a dog with a job, and he's very good at his job.
True.
I did really like the scene early in the book where she's out with Barley and Lulu, her horse, bringing back the cows or whatever. And I'm not getting the terminology, but, they do their jobs. Dog with a job.
Dog with a job. Yeah, so Sienna and Emma are hanging out at the ranch. Emma is getting used to ranch life.
It goes very well. Guy comes back and is like, okay, she's doing all right. Because Emma also has a lot of very specific needs. Like, she can't drink a lot of water. Mm-hmm. She has a very specific diet. She has to, get her blood pressure checked every day. At this point, she has dialysis, every 2 or 3 days.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so, she is very sick.
Yeah, and so Guy is also stressed when he's, not around her for good reason. And I would have been stressed, too, leaving her with, someone like Sienna who doesn't know. But Sienna stays on top of everything, communicates with Guy. It's all going swimmingly.
Everything's going great, which, again, these people have known each other for 3 days, so I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Guy turns out to be the best roommate ever and, immediately, starts doing chores, is, making her dinner. Jess remains very chill about this whole thing, despite having gained no information whatsoever.
Yeah, and Jess is not being as communicative with Sienna as I feel like a best friend would be. I feel like I would be in your shit or you would be in my shit, nonstop. How's it going? Do you need anything? Do you need rescuing?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Has he murdered you yet?
Tell me everything.
Yeah, Jess is very much like, yeah, I'd love to meet him soon. Your new husband. Which Micah, who is Sienna's ex, we learn, is not the best.
Yeah.
Like, Jess hated him. We don't get a ton of details, but, like, he was not a good husband to Sienna. It sounds like he was at least somewhat of an alcoholic, somewhat abusive, and they just fought a lot. And also, he's super rich and basically, like, bankrupted her in their divorce. So, Sienna, to her point that helps Guy, is, what does she say? She's land poor, where she has a lot of land. So on paper it looks great, but she has no cash.
Right.
Or she's land rich, cash poor, however you want to put it.
Yeah. I don't know what the right term is for that. But yeah, basically she has a lot of assets, but not a lot of cash.
Yeah, which is fine. It gets what they need. They're having this, like, nice little evening, and Sienna gets really overwhelmed, but she and Guy have a nice conversation, and this is also where you learn, like, Guy and his sister were in the foster care system, so it sounds like dude's really gone through it. Then we also meet Sienna's dad, who is in a care facility because he has pretty severe Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And doesn't really remember who Sienna is, but she still goes and visits him and talks a little bit about how her dad would be really pissed if he knew. But which did make me laugh, but I was also like, this is so deeply sad.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah, because that's not the time. No, because this time he straight up just doesn't know who she is, right?
right.
It's not that, because later he thinks that she's her mom.
yes.
Yeah, but now she's just like a stranger.
Right.
Yeah.
Which she says at this point is kind of mostly how it goes at the moment. So after this is when we meet Micah, who, I know he sucks, but also I would be pretty pissed
Yeah.
if I found out my ex-wife got married the day after our divorce was finalized.
Completely. I would be jumping to the same conclusions that Micah is, being like, were you cheating on me? Like, I would think all the same things.
Which is funny because, so they run into each other at the feed store, or Sienna goes because she doesn't see Micah's truck, and so she's like, I gotta get some things, let me go in there. Oh, she's buying muck boots for Emma and Guy.
Yeah.
And she goes in there, and Micah does see her truck and comes in and is like, bro, what the fuck? And says something like insinuating like, how long have you been with him or whatever. And Sienna, for some reason, does not think that that's what he's assuming. And like, it takes her a couple minutes to be like, oh, he thinks I was like cheating on him or whatever. And I'm like, well, yeah, I would think everybody in town would think that.
Yeah.
Not that, oh, I met this man and I got married to him the next day.
Yeah. Everyone in town is like weirdly like thrilled about this little union. And I'm like, I don't think that's how it would actually go.
Yeah, this is like, I wrote down, this is like some hot frosty logic where it's like, oh, he's a snowman. Oh, it's cool.
Right.
Oh, he just rolled into town out of nowhere and Sienna got married.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Which, yeah, Katey and I both being from small towns, that's not how that tends to go.
No, everyone jumps to bad conclusions instead of just being like perhaps happy for a happy event in somebody's life.
Which, to be fair, why would anyone guess this conclusion?
No. If someone in the town that I grew up in did this, I would straight up be like, oh, they were having an affair with that person.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah. Or he's a scam artist.
Yeah. Or that. Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah. He's taking advantage of this girl who's
divorced.
going through something. Yeah.
Yeah. But whatever. So let's see. Yes, this is when we get to the surprise party that Jess throws.
Yeah. Which sounds lovely, but also, please God, nobody in my life ever throw me a surprise party.
Noted. Okay. I did not have plans to do that for you. But.
I'm not I don't think I'm a surprise party person.
Imagine doing that while also you have just gotten married to a guy you have known for
Like
48
2 days. Yeah.
for 48 hours, and there's like dancing and a giant wedding cake. Not gonna lie, if Jess was my friend, I would be kind of pissed at them.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know the whole situation and you're throwing a wedding party?
Yeah, I'm with you. I would be really mad. And also, this all came together in 2 days.
Everyone loves Sienna, but we don't really know too much of why, except like her family has been in Caney Falls for a long time. Like obviously they're important to the community, and then Micah's family has a bunch of money, and then but everyone seemed to like her in the divorce.
Yeah.
So whatever. It is where we get the first kiss.
Fake kiss in front of everybody.
Yes.
But then very shortly after.
Basically immediately after. So I wrote down when we got the fake kiss, which is page 135, and then I noted it and then flipped the page and I was like, oh, now they're kissing for real. Okay. Which I did the math, 47%.
Nice.
So, pretty close.
The math holds up.
The math holds up. So they have a nice kiss. They're dancing. We like learn a little bit more about Emma's sad diet as a 4-year-old and kidney failure, where she can't have anything fun.
Yeah, because of course at this party she's like surrounded by fun things that she can't have.
See, this is also where I'd be really pissed at Jess. Right?
Yeah.
Like, not that I would expect them to know, but like, hey, the reason we got married is because this little girl's in kidney failure and now she can't have
And maybe
anything.
also now's not the best time for a party.
Maybe not. But also to Jess's credit, they don't know any of this.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, crazy friendship between Sienna and Jess.
Truly.
I got a lot of questions about their dynamic, but
Yeah.
you know. So then Guy and Sienna kind of settle more into this flirtation. Guy has installed a pull-up bar into the door jamb of the kitchen.
Sienna tries to do a pull-up and fails. She's like, I can do it. No, she can't.
See, that was my fitness goal for this year. I did not make it. It's really hard to do.
But you made progress towards it.
I have made progress toward it, for sure. I also did not take this goal quite as seriously as I could have.
Fair. There's always next year.
There is always next year.
2025 is our year.
This is my year to get my pull-up. I might get there.
So Guy and Sienna are becoming little bestie roommates.
With some flirtatious undertones.
Yes. She's like, oh, I really want to fix up my dad's truck, but I just haven't gotten around to it. And guess who fixes it up?
Guy.
Yeah.
He can apparently do any kind of manual labor there is. So, which is something I admire about people because I don't have the patience to like fix things.
Yeah, this is the kind of man I need.
Yeah.
Someone who can fix things.
Then they are kissing in the snow.
Kissing in the snow.
Which is very cute.
Emma has a medical emergency. A lot of things happen in this book.
Yes.
Many small events.
Yeah, this is not one of those with like or nothing happens kind of things. There are actually a lot of things that happen.
Yeah, a lot of plot.
This book also clocks in at under 300 pages, so it's kind of a lot in a short amount of time.
It's a unicorn romance novel.
I know.
A lot happens. Can read it in a day.
Yep, I almost read it in a day. I finished earlier today, though.
Nice.
But I did do like 220 pages of it yesterday. But yes, Emma has to go to the hospital because I think at this point it's like she needs dialysis.
Yeah, something like that.
And this is when they up her dialysis appointments to like every day, which, oof, man, poor kid. There's a kind of an only one bed situation where Guy is still sleeping on the couch, and then neither Sienna nor Guy wants to be away from Emma because Sienna and Emma sleep on the second floor.
Yeah, like bedrooms are right across from each other, basically. Right. Yeah.
And Sienna is like, you can take the bed, I'll sleep on the floor or something. And then, they do the back and forth and then they just sleep in bed together.
Yeah.
Of course. So, only one bed.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it that way, but you're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brr, 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 brr. The next day, Sienna takes Emma on a horseback ride, which I was like, is that a good thing to do with a child that's in kidney failure?
I don't know. Like, Sienna kind of approaches it. Like, I remember there was, I read this book like 2 weeks ago, so some of the like the finer details are a little foggy, but I remember Sienna saying something about bundling her, doing certain things to make it safer, but still seems like a bad idea.
Yeah. I'm no doctor, so I'm gonna posit the question and move on.
Yeah.
It's also in Idaho, which it's like 10 degrees every day.
Right.
Like in the mountains.
Right. It's like frigid.
Yeah. So anyway, but they have a nice little moment on horseback. Sienna loves this little kid for good reason. She seems very cute.
Yeah.
Then Micah shows up.
Right. like on her property.
Yeah, which is not a good idea.
No.
And this could go a lot different if this book was set somewhere else.
Yes.
You don't show up to somebody's property unannounced.
Nope.
It is kind of funny of listening to a lot of the things that Sienna says about the way she lives, where she's like, I don't like guns, I only have the one. And the way she very often does a land acknowledgement, or that her best friend uses they, them pronouns. There's a lot of things that are don't always feel super rooted in an Idaho reality.
Yeah. I hope there are places like this in Idaho.
Just judging from our experiences of, rural Texas. Not that there aren't many lovely people who are like this in rural Texas, but there are some things where it's like romances. And of course, like, it's a romance. It's supposed to be kind of an idealistic version of whatever reality we live in.
Yeah.
But sometimes that stuff is like, where she's like, well, my great-grandmother would even do like this land acknowledgement. I was like, really though? I don't know.
That feels...
It, like... Really?
If so, that was like the wokest old lady of all time.
At one point, too, she says her great-grandmother built her house, like the cabin, and I was like, I just kind of think that's physically impossible for one small woman.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, but, Sienna is very lovely. And this is a nice moment where I'm thinking about this because, man, if somebody showed up to my ranch unannounced where my driveway is 2 miles long, yeah, it's probably going to scare the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And if I was Sienna, I would probably be more armed than she is.
Yes. If I were a woman living alone on like thousands of acres, I would pretty much always be packing.
The thing to also understand about me and Katie is that when you grow up in rural Texas, yes, there are reasons to have guns, and it's not just necessarily like intruders. The feral hogs thing is real.
The feral hogs thing is real. Like, I still think about that day on the internet where I'm like, was this a little over the top? Yes. But this is a thing.
The 40 to 50 feral hogs are actually a really big problem.
They're actually a really big problem.
So,
and there could be 40 to 50 of them
out of nowhere.
Yeah. My dad showed you where they had been rooting around.
I know. Yeah.
I know.
When we had
close to the house too.
Yeah, when we had land, we would see where they had been rooting
Yeah.
around too. Like, yeah, they'll fuck you
They're
up.
dangerous. Yeah,
They'll fuck you up, man.
they've only ever killed like one person, I think, in Texas. But they're very dangerous for animals. They're destructive. They're invasive. It's a problem.
It's a problem. Sienna does say that she mostly has her gun for putting her animals down when she has to, which is very realistic.
Yes.
That is what you do.
Yes.
When you live in a rural area, there's no vet that comes out and puts your cows down.
Right.
So, yeah, Micah shows up and is, again, kind of like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't remember what specific event prompted this specific visit, but yeah, it's basically more of the same.
He had tried to like come to the surprise party.
That's what it was. That's right.
So then at this point, he's like, Sienna, you're not talking to me or telling me what's going on. I'm going to show up at your property, which is not a cool thing to do.
No.
And Sienna stands up for herself and is actually, she does say, get off my land.
Yeah.
Which I was like, hell yeah, lady.
Yep.
Tell him to get off your 1,500 acres.
Well, and then Guy is there too, but he just kind of stands menacingly in the background.
Yeah, because Guy kind of gets involved, and Sienna's like, Guy, I've got this.
Yeah.
Which, good job. But he does, stand menacingly in the doorway, which is what he should do in the moment.
Yeah.
Stay out of her way, but be present if needed. Micah leaves. It's whatever. The next day, the family of Emma, Guy, and Sienna go on this date to town where Guy and a bunch of other dudes have built a snow globe that you can quite literally walk around in.
I'm picturing it being sort of like those little snow globe things that you can dine in, but bigger, but I don't really understand it.
They say it is more than 3 stories tall, and there are walkways in it.
Maybe it's less of a literal snow globe and more of just like almost like a haunted house type vibe, but Christmas. You know what I mean?
Kind of, yes.
I don't know. To be honest, I didn't really focus on the details of the descriptions of the snow globe too much because I was confused. So I was like, okay, they're at this Christmassy thing. I'm just going to
it was
roll with it.
And part of it is that that guy helped build it and is explaining it to them. And I'm just truly what? This cannot be up to code.
Yeah.
They built it in 2 weeks. What do you mean this is a 3-story structure?
Yeah, I had to stop reading the descriptions.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I'll move on.
Yeah.
But they have a nice family date. Emma, however, does have a meltdown and
cuz she wants to have
ice cream.
Ice cream, that's right. Yeah. I knew it was something sweet.
Yes, and she can't. And she whacks Sienna in the face, which
Kids do be
hitting, man, and it pisses me off every time I get hit.
I've gotten smacked by a kid before.
Yeah, and she bops her in the nose real hard.
Yeah.
It is a kind of a nice moment where Guy and Sienna and Emma have a very stereotypical family moment where the kid's being a brat and Guy's like, "You threw a fit, man." But then Sienna is kind of she doesn't have a lot of time left. Let's let her go ride the ponies.
Yeah.
Basically. So because Emma's a sick kid,
she gets off easy.
She gets off a little easier.
If I had done this, my dad would have tore me a new one.
Yeah, same. If I had bopped one of my dad's girlfriends my dad's wife.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing I did want to talk about with this book is that they have a religious discussion.
Yeah, in a way that I don't know we've ever really seen in a romance novel.
Right.
To this level of detail, I guess.
No, I agree. It really, so one thing that kind of struck me earlier in the book is when Sienna is taking Emma to the hospital and Guy has to meet them there. Is Sienna is trying to soothe Emma because she's crying and she's in pain, and Sienna is telling her your daddy loves you, Barley loves you, God loves you, stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting. There's been references to them both praying and things like that. But then at the winter fest or the Christmas festival or whatever, while Emma is playing with this other little kid, they have a legitimate do you believe in God kind of conversation, which is really interesting because this is not, most of the time we read really smutty romances that don't really, and the times that we have seen church or religion, it's they're having sex in the church a la Tessa Bailey.
Or it's just more mentioned in passing.
Right. And it's very low key, but this is a very Guy saying oh, I pray every day and I struggle with this and whatnot. And I thought it was really interesting in terms of the tone of the book in general of, this one is super Hallmarky.
Yeah.
And in some ways, and not in a bad way, but they don't curse in the book. We never get a true sex scene. They're all fade to black.
Yeah. And
all of the sex scenes that we do have are between two people who are married.
Yes.
And so it was really interesting in that I did have this question at the end of it where it's is Sienna kind of in this trad wife trope in some ways of yes and no, where it's they have this very ideal situation where they have all the land and they live off the land and have this very rural kind of ideal what that looks like, when we talk about this trad wife kind of movement, it's you live off the land and you make your own bread and shit like that. But yeah, I thought this was in ways very refreshing because I think it is, a complicated part of life, especially when you have a family member who's sick. And also, not that I've ever lived in Idaho, but there is, in these rural areas, there is more of a religious presence.
Yeah.
And I thought they had a really nice conversation about it, and also a way that was comforting, but not shove in your face also.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too, because there definitely are romance novels that are Christian romance novels.
Right,
that's what they're marketed as.
Yes.
And I've accidentally ended up reading a few of those because sometimes you don't sometimes they look the same and you don't know that until you look up the author or whatever, or you get into the book and you're this is really, really religious. What gives?
And aggressively G-rated.
Exactly, yeah. And so I don't I don't like those books, not because of the religion necessarily, but mostly because they're like very G-rated, so they end up being like honestly kind of boring. But yeah, this was handled in a way where it's not going to like anybody who's not religious reading it isn't going to necessarily be like, oh, they're like trying to like
convert me or
right,
whatever.
exactly. Like it's just a moment.
Yeah. It was also kind of nice as somebody who is, from my perspective, as somebody who is still somewhat religious or has a lot of like complicated feelings still about religion and God and things like that, of like, oh, interesting. It's interesting to read that same perspective from somebody in a romance novel who's also dealing with much worse things than I do.
Right.
Obviously, I don't have a 4-year-old in kidney failure, but you know, it's not something we always read in these. But on the other hand, it was kind of like a, this, I wonder, like, obviously I don't know a lot about Sarah Morgenthaler, but it did make me wonder of like, oh, okay, like, are the Moose Springs books also this kind of like Hallmarky? And again, I don't mean this in a bad way.
Yeah, they're pretty Hallmarky. Less so than this one.
Okay.
I feel like. But
Yeah.
I feel, I mean, they are pretty Hallmarky, but I feel like maybe it's the sick kid aspect of this that makes it really lend to the Hallmarky vibe, because this one is definitely like sappier than the other ones.
Okay.
And I think that's mostly just because of the sick kid.
Yeah. And again, I haven't read the ones set in Alaska, but with that in combination with these kind of like classic conservative family values, which, as we've established, I seriously doubt Sienna's a Republican. But she's having sex with a man she's married to, who she married so she could help their sick kid. She's a ranch woman. Yeah. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of these things are kind of like trad wifey in a way.
Right.
I don't know. A passing thought.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. They continue to kind of develop their relationship. They almost do it.
Yeah.
A couple times.
But then they fool around in the hot springs.
Yes. It is a cut to black. And then the next day she's talking to her friends, Jess and, is it Sinai? I think is her name.
Oh, yeah.
Who runs the coffee shop. And it's this funny moment where she does hint that something happened, but I think she's fairly clear they didn't like fully have sex, which I was like, good, you probably don't want to in a hot spring.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't bang in a hot spring.
That's probably not good for your vaginal health.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
Also, especially the first time with someone, that doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, it did remind me of bottom of the well.
Yeah,
sex.
a little bit, yeah.
But yeah, probably is not as comfortable. They fool around. It sounds great, whatever. But she does have this funny conversation where she's like, I have real feelings for this man. And Jess is like, you mean your husband? And Sienna's like, yeah. And Jess is like, I'm sure that's good. Which, again, Jess is very confusing through this book. But so, man, yeah, there really is a lot of plot in this book. So then
Emma accidentally lets all the cows out.
Accidentally on purpose.
Accidentally on purpose. Accidentally because she's a dumb kid. On purpose because she's a dumb kid.
Man, I would
she's
lose
like,
my shit.
The cows wanted to eat the food that was on the other side of the fence, and I know how it feels to not be able to eat the food that I want to eat, so I thought I would let them go eat the food. Which is very adorable and sad 4-year-old logic, but if I'm Sienna in this moment, I'm losing my fucking mind.
Yes. Because the cows, which she has like 60 head of cattle in like one bull.
Yeah.
They have wandered onto like the full other side of a mountain. Because again, she has like 1,500 acres.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's like blizzarding.
It's a lot of land.
Yeah.
And she has to call Micah.
Yeah. And so they go out and find the herd. She has to stay out with him overnight because it's such a like long trek or whatever.
They find like a big portion of the herd. A couple of the guys take them back, and then Sienna and Micah are like, well, there's still like 20 cows missing. Yeah,
we need to stay out. Sienna and Micah have like a kind of heart to heart and come to a understanding, sort of.
Yeah, it's like
maybe not heart to heart, maybe more come to Jesus, but a little of both, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of like they're still both digging in their heels, but they are like, it's easier to peacefully coexist.
Yeah, they come to some sort of resolution. Not all the cows come back. Rip.
Yeah.
Very sad.
This was also very interesting in that it was a very realistic depiction of ranching, though.
Totally. There's no way they were going to find all those cows.
Yeah. I was kind of waiting for that to happen, and I was going to, like, roll my eyes and whatnot. And
Yeah.
then I was like, oh, no, they did lose 16 cows. That's really sad.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yep. The whole family, as in Sienna, Guy, and Emma, all go meet Sienna's dad, who thinks that Emma is Sienna, and Sienna is Sienna's mom. So there's like this very sweet, sad moment. But Emma is really good with him.
Which was really sweet.
Yeah.
And really intuitive of a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
I remember going to see my grandpa in his care facility, and I was not this nice about it.
That's scary for a kid.
Yeah, I was older, but I mean, I was significantly older.
Yeah.
But, like, there is one part where Sienna talks about, like, how it smells in there.
Yeah.
And, like, not even that it's necessarily bad. It's just, like,
Significant.
it's
Yeah.
just significant. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, yeah, it takes me back, man.
Yep. So then Emma asks Sienna to be her mommy. It's very sweet.
Ah!
And then Sienna and Guy do it after that. And then Emma goes in to heart failure.
These 3 things happen within, like, 8 hours.
Yeah.
And
Then,
so, yeah, Emma has to be airlifted to a hospital.
yeah.
And obviously, Guy and Sienna are freaking out. And then while they're there, and
At the hospital, Micah shows up.
her dad had a stroke.
Yeah. And I thought, here's where I thought this was going to go, that Emma was going to get Grandpa's kidney.
I thought so, too.
And I was like, this would be so Grey's Anatomy hallmarky, but it would make sense. I really thought that's where we were going, but that's not where we were
I
going.
honestly thought, my first thought when Micah showed up was somehow that he had gotten tested and was a match for
That thought also crossed my mind.
which would also be super gimmicky and hallmarky.
Yeah, that thought also crossed my mind.
He had a change of heart.
But Emma got a kidney from someone else, some
Yes.
other kid.
Of course.
Emma lives. Life is good.
Her dad dies a month later.
Sienna's dad.
Sienna's dead. Not Guy. Not Guy. Guy lives to see many other days.
Yeah. Everyone lives
Presumably.
happily ever after, and in the epilogue, she's pregnant.
Yay.
Yay.
Also, yeah, the cows get... What did I read today in the 80 pages? Cows get loose. They do it. Emma has heart failure. Her dad dies. It's a lot going on.
Yeah, this is all like in the last like 30 minutes of reading the book.
Yeah, so if we sped through the last, major plot points, the book speeds through them too.
It's fast and furious.
It's fast and furious.
But this is apparently book 1 in a new series, so I don't know who we're getting next. Perhaps Jess?
I think Charlie...
Oh, yes, Charlie. Yes.
Charlie for sure, he's not significant in this book, but he's one of Sienna's friends who has always had a thing for her.
Yeah, Charlie might be next, actually.
I think Charlie's next, and then we've only met basically two other characters where it could be Jess or it could be Sinai.
Yeah.
With Charlie.
We don't think it would be Micah, right? Are we going to do that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But definitely Charlie. I think Charlie is the next one. I think you're
Charlie's
right
next.
about
I
that.
could see maybe a revisiting of Micah later.
Yeah, but not next.
Not next.
Yeah. I think you're right about Charlie being next.
It seems like Micah is on the way to his Grinchy heart.
Yeah.
Growing 3 sizes or whatever. But
yeah, maybe the Christmas after next.
Yeah,
Micah's
maybe so.
feeling ready.
Anyway.
But yeah, thoughts?
I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a nice, quick read. I appreciated that it was not one that drew itself out too much. I think this one, it was certainly hallmarky, kind of as I've discussed. Like, not like aggressively G-rated, but it is like a very G-rated book. Mm-hmm. Which is not a bad thing. It's very Christmassy in that way. It was very sweet. It was very cute. Kids in books, are sometimes tough.
Yeah.
I think Emma was a good kid in a book.
I agree.
I think this one was like a little bit insta-lovey for me. Like, they truly know each other for like 10 days.
Yeah.
And I understand, like, this one it's like a little easier to buy because, like, there's a kid.
Yeah, there's like a trauma bond happening there. Yeah.
Right. But it is also like, wow, this could have gone really badly for you. I'm glad you didn't get murdered.
Yeah, I think for me, so much happens in the book that I was kind of forgetting that it was happening over such a short period of time. So it didn't really feel insta-lovey in the moment, although now thinking back and realizing that it was only that short period of time, like, yes. But in the moment, so much is going on that I'm like, it's been months,
Like, I think if I was going to write this book, I would have like drawn out the timeline a little bit more of like,
Yeah.
her divorce could have been finalized like beginning of November. So
Right.
it still could have been like a holiday book.
Totally.
Kind of
Totally.
thing. Still could have ended with her getting a kidney on Christmas Eve, but there would have been more of a like relationship development.
That is the hard thing with some of these Christmas books, is that a lot of them do just by nature have to happen in such a short period of
Yeah.
time.
Exactly. I did really like the setting. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
I
good
thought-
town, good townies.
Yeah, good townies. Confusing townies, but good townies nonetheless. I liked, well, we've certainly never read an Idaho romance, so.
Yeah, I like the ranch setting. Earlier this year I read a bunch of Elsie Silver books, which are all kind of like cowboy.
Yes. I was thinking of those.
And the Lila Sage books, which I also really liked. So this is kind of feeding into that like cowboy romance thing.
But yeah, I thought it was cute. It was like the most hallmarky, I think, Christmas romance we've read for the podcast.
Yeah, I think so too.
Do you like this one as much as because you've talked about Moose Springs on the podcast before, that you love it.
Yeah.
Did you like, and you said last week that you really loved this one too.
I really liked this one. I liked the Moose Springs. I think I liked the characters in the Moose Springs series better, but I think it's really hard to judge because I've read that entire series. So I've spent like 3 books with the same people. Mm-hmm. But I do remember after I finished the first one, I was like, inject the next one directly into my veins. And those books are more, especially the first one of that series, it's more like goofy comedy. Like there's an actual moose that always like gets out and is like destroying shit.
All right,
so it's just like really silly shenanigans.
Sure.
And there's like a local bar that everyone hangs out at and a local diner. So it's a little more, the world feels a little more fleshed out than in this series. But again, I'm looking at that having read all of the books already.
Right.
So it's hard for me to really say.
Yeah, I would say I will definitely pick up the sequel because, again, I did really like the setting, and even though it was like a little hallmarky, I'm not complaining about it necessarily.
Totally.
So,
what are you going to pick up next? I'm assuming you haven't started anything else today.
would you believe I'm reading 2 books at once?
Wow, look
I
at
know.
her.
I never do this, but I am reading after everybody was rightfully yelling at us to read.
Holiday romance.
I'm reading it right now, and it's
Nice.
so good. Yeah, I am about a third of the way through, and you guys were right. It is really stinking good so far. It's like, it reminds me a lot of, it's kind of like People We Meet on Vacation, where they fly together every year for 10 years, and so you go back to all the other flights, and then it's also set in their present day. However, this is also my travel nightmare, so I am struggling somewhat because they're trying to get to Ireland, and a vague spoiler that doesn't really mean anything, but they at one point fly to Atlanta, to Buenos Aires, to Paris.
Whoa.
And then I'm right now, they're in Buenos Aires where I am, and so they have, and the flight to Buenos Aires is 10 hours.
Good
and
God.
then they have to fly to Paris.
Good
anyway.
God.
Yeah, I would have an absolute meltdown. I think I would potentially have a true like mental break, and somebody would have to put me in the hospital.
Probably so.
So anyway, but it's great. It's really, really good. I really like the characters. I'm really excited to keep reading it.
Nice. I'm going to steal that as the next one I'm going to pick up because I haven't picked up anything new. I'm still finishing that terrible Grinchy one. But I'm like, I think I have like 20 minutes left reading it or something, so I'll probably finish that today, and then pick up Holiday Romance because I did obtain it after we recorded the last episode.
I think it's still 99 cents if you have a Kindle on Amazon, or I think it's still part of Kindle Unlimited. So if you are a Kindle reader, I'm sure you cannot get it at your library right now because I'm sure it's all checked out. But,
probably.
Regardless, you were all right. I'm very much enjoying it, and it's very well written.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so we will see y'all on the other side of
2024.
Yeah, wow. Everybody have wonderful holidays. And if you have any requests for a January book, y'all know where to find us.
Yeah, I believe we make it back January 2nd. So.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that.